Hello and welcome everybody. Good evening, good afternoon, good morning to some of you. This is Claudia here from or in Dubai right now currently, and yes, we have a great announcement which just came out today. So usually we do, of course, our Tuesday presentations. We do it a little bit different today. I know we have a lot of people here on the call who want to learn about Storh, what's happening, and so on. So what I basically did is I collected some of the questions which I just got this afternoon since the update was out, and of course there's many more questions coming. So I just grabbed like 10-15 questions for you guys here, and we have our founder and CEO of the call, Bill Rowell. He's actually live in Angola right now, working on amazing projects. So we're gonna work through step by step through those questions to get them all of you hopefully answered the best way we can. So that's exciting. It's really great. Finally, we coming to that point that the payouts will start. So okay, it's not going to be a Christmas present, but it's an after Christmas present, which I believe it's also going to be really great. So with that, I want to say again hello to everybody who's still logging in, and yes, don't worry, this will be recorded, so you will be able to listen and re-listen to it. But again, there are so many more questions coming, so be patient. We will of course list them all and we will answer them all, and also you should send email always to support@utopianglobal.com. Please always state your ID number and ask all the questions you do have if we haven't answered them, which I guess we will not all answer them in this next 30, 40, 50 minutes from now, so because we just can't get to all of those questions, which is also very normal. So with that, Bill, hello to the call, and how is Angola?
Hi Claudia, great to be here. Welcome to everyone joining us from different parts of the world. Actually, Angola's great, I must say. I mean, what a history. I mean, every country has its history, but it's just a reminder that freedom comes at a price, and half of the Angolan flag is red, which represents the bloodshed just to achieve independence from the colonialization that it actually went under. And only achieved that, the war ended, civil war ended, I think it was 25 years or something, ended in 2002, so not all that long ago. But it's a very rich country looking for investments, very rich in minerals. And of course, most have agriculture as well, but most people here, they survive on the concept of foreigners' investment, and they're mining and doing different things. And we want to be able to be involved in that opportunity in a respectful way where we can sow seeds of prosperity back into the local people as well, at the same time to be able to create some for ourselves as well. So traveling the world, it's a learning curve. One thing's for sure, we are blessed and very grateful for what we have. So coming to places like this in Africa certainly reminds you of that. But getting off the aircraft, I must say the energy from the people was actually very calm, very loving. No threats, no feel of any threats whatsoever. And I've traveled different parts of the world where it's not like that. As soon as you get off the aircraft, without saying where it is, you know that you've got to be on guard. So it's great to be here with the Angolan people, learn about their history, and hopefully we can do some business with them in the coming months.
Correct. Everybody is obviously asking, looking forward for some new product developments, of course, there. Great. Well, let's get into it. Obviously, everybody saw the announcement. Either you are already following us on Telegram or on, of course, the social media or on email. And again, just regarding the email, unfortunately, the way it works now, you know, often it goes into spam. So always make sure that you whitelist Utopian Global, and still they go sometimes into spam. So you know, that's just unfortunate, but this is just the way it is. But yes, so the headline, of course, obviously was today in the different languages regarding the distributions being paid on the 30th of December, or starting to be paid on the 30th of December, and that a complete and detailed announcement will be made prior to the distributions. And that detailed announcement we do not have yet, but we're gonna address some of the questions already as much as we can. So let's get into it, Bill. We have 16 of them, which I could list so fast here. And that is one of the questions: can I increase my package from 99 to 1,500 in Storh based on today's message?
Well, thanks, Claudia. Before I get into the questions, let me give a bit of a summary to how we've come this far, because it's been quite a journey, and 2020 in itself has been a very much unexpected journey. So we're in a very, very good situation, and I must give full credit to Ryan Messer and the team of Storh, the board of Storh. They've managed this exceptionally well. I mean, in 2020, we experienced negative oil prices, which we have never seen in history. Negative oil prices. And if you, you know, in the US alone, you've got $90 billion worth of oil and gas companies who have really gone into bankruptcy. $90 billion worth. So if you're standing here or sitting here, because I'm a major investor in Storh myself, a lot of skin in the game, and to know that we're going to be moving to distributions, we're going to get a good double-digit return on our Storh investment is absolutely fantastic, and real credit goes to, of course, Ryan, and of course the managing team of the asset, Raccoon Ben, Peter and Glenn, who we've met. I know you've met them too, Claudia, several times, and people on this call have met. Of course, the engineer and geologists of the asset, who are also part owners of this particular asset since 2002. So they've got a lot of skin in the game. They're managing it to the best of their ability, because that's their livelihood. So that's the benefit that we've had. Now, I'm giving a bit of a summary here for people joining us for the first time. Generally, there's a cost to extract petroleum out of the Earth's crust, and that can generally is 30 to 40. Shale oil can be $50 a barrel. Well, during these harsh economic times of 2020, where supply, well, actually there was abundance of supply at the beginning of the year, and demand was crippled because the economy shut down, aviation shut down, it's still pretty much shut down actually. Oil prices went into negative territory, but we managed to get the lifting cost of the petrochemicals out of the earth below $12 a barrel, which is remarkable, which means, you know, even though in harsh times, they've been running this particular asset at a profit. So again, full credit to the team there. Why did we get ourselves in a better position this year? Because the world changed. And I want to touch on this to explain to people what actually happened very, very clearly, so you get it. And as Claudia said in Ryan's announcement, who's the CEO of Storh, Ryan Messer, he's going to be coming up with a more detailed announcement, giving the full details of this particular distribution, how it's going to work. But primarily, we've got ourselves backed into a corner here. When we bought the asset on the 1st of August, when we settled on the asset on the 1st of August 2019, oil prices were above $60 a barrel, economic situation, stock markets at highest levels. Things were looking good. Demand, aviation, oil demand was very strong as well. So the bank at that particular time, because we actually borrowed, we bought 12% of the asset, we borrowed 8% against that, so we didn't have to dilute the asset into more shareholders, which meant you and I, as we paid down the debt on the bank note, would actually have a greater portion of the production of the oil well and gas every day, which means it was good for us. But what happened was, of course, 2020, February, March, we saw the change in the world economic climate. We saw oil and gas prices go to negative territory. I think that might have been April. Anyway, the world can change. I don't have to tell you about that. Many of you are feeling it, as we all are. And it changed the whole circumstances. So when the finance came up for renewal at the end of July 2020, 1 year later, the bank said, hey, the deal that we gave you 1 year ago is not going to be the same deal that we give you today. There's an old saying about banks, you know, they'll give you an umbrella. When it starts raining, they'll take it away from you. And that's pretty much what happened yesterday. It really put us into a corner, and that's why we couldn't actually pay out distributions. It was part of if we didn't get refinancing from the bank on that 8%, it means we would have lost the whole asset. And I just said to you before that in the US alone, up until the third quarter of this year, $90 billion of oil and gas assets have gone bankrupt. Significant. We are not. So that is a huge a huge plus to us, and I'm certainly grateful for that because I've got a strong six-figure, very strong six-figure invested in Storh myself. Okay, so we take it very, very, very serious. So as a result of that bank refinancing, they really put a noose around our neck. We couldn't really move that much. So Ryan and the team had to come up with different things, which he'll explain on the next announcement. Anyway, with that said, we have the Storh. We all own Storh shares. Let's call them digital shares in one sense. And we're going to get 100% of our money back on our net Storh asset. That's not the package value. We all know that it's a net Storh value. Plus, we'll probably earn the next another 25% on top of that, which Ryan's been saying from the beginning anyway. But he'll come out in the details. So that gives you a bit of a general overview of where we are now. Now, as of right now, if you wanted to log into Utopian Global and buy a package, you are not going to get Storh shares. They are no longer available. They're not going to be diluted any further. That's finished. Okay, so if you're going to buy a package now, you're going to get gold and silver. In fact, when you log in, you buy a package, whether it's 99 or whether it's 1,500 euro, you'll be selecting how much gold and silver that you actually want, which would be the same equivalent value of what you would have had in Storh in that sense. But of course, you can upgrade any time from one package to another package. In general, there's no real need to it, although there is some benefits on the higher packages, because if you're actually choosing to be an affiliate member, when it comes to paying out commissions, the 1,500 package and the 3,500 package has some benefits there, but maybe that's not a discussion for now. So primarily now, you cannot buy Storh anymore. It's finished. Okay, so that answers that question. Moving on to question number 2, and mind you, as I'm going through this, if it raises any other questions, please put the questions in the type in your little control panel there, and we'll try and address that at the end of the presentation. And much of this is going to come out in the detailed announcement from Ryan anyway. Can we still invest in the future Storh products? Well, Storh, as in Raccoon Bend, is finished. Storh itself, or let's say other future asset products will be coming to the market. We don't have any as yet. I know there's a question later on when it comes to plastics to fuel. I'll get to that when we get to that particular question. So as of right now, the assets that we have available for you is gold and silver. And I must say, that's a great asset to actually own. It's highly liquid, and many believe we're heading into a strong third bull market in that particular area. That's another discussion as well. Will Storh continue with Utopian Global? Absolutely. I mean, Ryan and I are often talking about different opportunities, whether it be in the US. I'm looking at opportunities here. There's people knocking on our door all the time to be able to bring, let's say, investments, opportunities to us. Everybody wants liquidity. Just like the bank shut the door on us and said, no, we're not going to give you the same deal we gave you a year ago. Do you think we're the only ones in that situation? Everyone else is in that situation as well. So there's people screaming out for liquidity, screaming out for investment capital. So with that, yes, we do have many people coming to us, offering opportunities to us, but we're very selective. I mean, we're going to do well out of Storh, no question about that. But we're very selective of what products we're going to be and what assets we're going to be involved with. But you know, even the assets I'm looking at here, very exciting. But the due diligence, I'm not going to recommend anything unless I'm willing to invest in it myself. Okay, I just said to you before, I put a strong six-figure income number into Storh, so I've certainly got skin in the game. When it comes to investments here or elsewhere with Ryan and the team, I can assure you we certainly have skin in the game. So yes, other assets will come to the table, but I can't share any with you right now. But there's some serious ones that we're looking at. What will be with Storh after 30/12/2020? Well, Storh as a Raccoon Bend, Storh as a digital asset is finished. Storh is actually is a digital token backed by assets. Okay, so that as of today, we're not selling anymore. You can't buy any more Storh assets. That's actually finished. Okay, that's one particular asset. And that asset that's backing the Storh token is called Raccoon Bend. So that's closed off. But again, just repeating myself, other assets will come to the table and other great opportunities will come to us. And as they do, we'll make them available to the marketplace. What will be, okay, will we get future distributions? Yes, distributions are starting on the 30th of December. Probably Ryan will give full details of that based on what the earnings were. I believe it's going to be 20, probably close to 25% a return on the investment on Storh will pay out. But again, Ryan will come out in the next announcement actually regarding that. Do I only get distributions if I'm an active member? No. If you bought Storh, customer, or active or inactive, you're going to get paid. As simple as that. If you're a Storh owner, Storh equity owner, you're going to get paid your distributions. Okay. Will the distributions be paid to the Utopian Global account, to my regular bank account? No, they'll be paid to your e-wallet. So what will actually happen is they'll come to us, because Storh Raccoon Bend is a US dollar, oil and gas is US dollar. They'll push us XYZ US dollars that'll be exchanged to euros, and those euros we push to your e-wallet. From the e-wallet, you'll be able to do as you normally do. You'll be able to say, just pay it into my nominated bank account, or pay it to my Bitcoin account, or buy some gold and silver with it. You'll have total flexibility with that.
Just to interrupt, and Bill,
yes,
just to interrupt you quickly, because some people don't actually know what is an e-wallet, so they don't know that yet. So the e-wallet is when you go to your account in your back office, you see payouts and funding, and there sits your e-wallet. It's like your own account in Utopian Global. This is your e-wallet. This is where it will sit.
Yeah, thanks, Claudia. Yes, it's just in your back office. We're primarily all funds commissions from our affiliates, sell back of gold and silver. Any monetary movement ends up in your e-wallet. From there, you as a member, whether you're a customer or an affiliate, could nominate pay out to your bank account or to a Bitcoin account, or buy further assets such as gold and silver if you wish. That's what the e-wallet's for. Okay.
But this is but just go quickly, because you know, I get so many questions about it, but this is an extra step. So once the money is in your e-wallet, then of course you, the client, the customer, the affiliate, you need to then say, okay, I want to have it paid out to your bank, or you want to have it paid out in Bitcoin, or you want to use that money to purchase further gold or silver, or maybe pay for your membership or whatsoever. So you need to give the direction, of course, actually to Utopian Global. You need to do that, because it will sit there, but you actually then need to do those steps afterwards.
That's correct, Claudia. But primarily, whenever any credit is made to your e-wallet, whether it's 50 cents, $1, whether it's 5,000 euros, I should say, you always get notification that your e-wallet's been credited or debited. So that's just the way that works. But you have the choice how you want to be paid out with that. It's a very flexible system. Let me go to the next question. I've not set up my wallet yet to transfer the tokens. Well, you're not going to need to worry about that, because they're all going to be transferred to shares in that respect. Tokens are no longer available. You can still exchange actually tokens from wallet to wallet. So let's say, as of this point right now, that you wanted to actually put them into, have them pushed to your blockchain, you could actually do that. And you wanted to transfer those tokens, let's say someone else, and they got the distributions, you could do that. But that will be only up until about the 14th of this particular month. The 14th of the month will be the cutoff date for any transfers from wallet to wallet. But primarily, Storh as a digital token, as you know, it will be finished. Okay, primarily it's going to become like just like a share concept, and you're going to be paid out like a regular share. Because to be quite honest, even though we've been doing this now for a year and a half, actually it's 2 years, correct? 2 years now. Probably 40% of people, 45% of people have not set up their Ethereum wallets. I mean, I love the blockchain, I love cryptocurrency, but my God, the problems it causes for people who are not in this, who don't understand this sector, how to set up a wallet, how to do this and how to do that, it gets very complex. So the great thing about this is, I mean, the blockchain is fantastic. That's just a proof of transaction. That's all it is. But when it comes out to paying distributions, because we are part centralized and on the blockchain, which is decentralized, in the end, that's not going to matter. In the end, the ones on the blockchain are going to be the verification point of how many tokens that you actually own. So people who have done internal transfers, in the next 10 days, by the 14th, your back office is going to update to reflect those transfers. Okay. That's quite a process to actually link the blockchain to our back end to do an audit, what's been issued on the blockchain, to compare actually what's in our centralized system in your back office. But primarily, you can still do it today if you wanted to set up your wallet, blah, 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 but you don't have to, because in the end, we're going to balance it out of the blockchain anyway, and whatever's in your wallet is going to be paid out and locked anyway. So that's okay. What does until further products become available mean? Okay, well, as I just said, products is really different assets. I'm here in Angola now. I've been invited here to do a due diligence on various fields and mines and different things that are available, multi-million-dollar projects, very exciting. So when they become available, the whole idea of this is to make some of these products available to our members, just like we did with Raccoon Bend, and this is what we may possibly do here as well. But it's all about risk management. So we want to make sure that what we're willing to put our money into and put your money into is that we know what we're talking about and we've done our due diligence as well. Because if I'm not willing to put skin in the game, I mean, why should I expect any of you people to do that as well? Okay, question 10. I thought UG was developing the plastics to fuel. Yes, we were, but the world's changed. I just said to you earlier on that oil and gas went to negative prices for the first time in history. The whole business model, of course, I just love the concept of plastics to fuel. It's an environmental cleanup. It's just a logical concept to do, but it's not profitable. Okay, it's like this. Okay, now we got you in on a moral subject of plastics to fuel, and you thought this is really exciting, and then you never got paid any money, and you put 10,000 euro, 20,000 euro, 50,000 euro, maybe only 99 euro, and you never got paid anything from it. You're not going to be happy with us. So the financial viability to plastics to fuel is high risk today. It hasn't proven itself. Up until the beginning of this year, we were all in. In fact, up until the February of this year, we had a team, maybe they're even on this call, from Brazil come and meet us in Houston. They actually came to the Raccoon Bend asset as well, and they invited us back to Brazil to meet with the Brazilian government to set up plastics to fuel. Big story there, but Brazil's 200 million people primarily. It only recycles about 1.7% of its plastics, one of the lowest ratios in the world, one of the highest plastics polluting countries in the world. So we thought, what a great country to be able to do plastics to fuel concept. But of course, once, Corona hit, number one, Brazil shut down because their politicians caught it. We hit negative oil prices as well. The whole viability of plastics to fuels went out the door. So we're not willing to put our own money in or put your money into something that hasn't proven to be substantial. After all, if plastics to fuel was so profitable, and we knew this 2 years ago, if it was so profitable, the big companies like BP, Texaco, all these big companies will be doing it. If you do your research, you won't see these big companies doing it. You'll see smaller companies being involved in this type of thing. But unless they've got government subsidies or different things supporting this industry, most of them aren't making good revenues. And of course, here it's at Utopian Global and Storh, we're not just about the environment, we also want to be able to put some money in your pocket, correct? No point in cleaning up the plastics if you can't lace your pockets with a bit of money at the same time. So that doesn't mean we're putting money before the environment, no, but you've got to have both have to go together. After all, we're not an NGO, a non-profit organisation. We are a group that wants to operate on profit. So I'll be clear about that.
Unfortunately, of course, the governments which do have money, of course, aside for those projects, but since Corona hit, of course, all that was really taken away, and even in the new budgets, it's not in there. So with that said, of course, the future, I mean, we all believe we're going to go eventually sustainable, but unfortunately, it's a little bit more delayed, all these things at the moment.
Yeah, correct, Lady. In fact, many of the municipalities which support plastics to fuel, the local municipalities would actually maybe give tax benefits or other payouts to support this particular initiative to make it viable in one sense. Even just the gathering of the plastic, a lot of that's been cut out because they don't have the budget anymore. I mean, let's face it, there's been trillions of dollars printed this year just to try and bail out and keep the economies alive. So giving out handouts to other companies trying to start up things, it's not at their priority right now. So it just puts us on a high risk. That's why we've walked away from that concept at the moment. Does not mean it will not resurface in the future. Business is about timing. Planting a seed is about timing. You plant the seed in the wrong season, yeah, you're not going to grow anything. Well, in business is the same deal. And of course, all of us want to be able to plant seeds of prosperity, not poverty, correct? So we're very cautious about that. And I know it's disappointing, but on the long term, it's a better move, okay? What question are we up to, Claudia? Okay, question 11. Can we choose which precious metals want to? Yes. So when you go into your back office, let's say you're buying gold, let's say you're buying a package, whether it's a 99 euro package or a 3,500 euro package, you can select the ratio of gold and silver if you want. You can have 40% silver, 60% gold, 10% gold, 90% silver. There's a slider there. You can actually drag that. In fact, the US has been doing this for some time. The good thing about these new assets we're looking at, possibly even here, we believe, and because it's not a Storh digitalized token, it means it could be available for the US market too. So I'm sure many of the people in the US are going to be very excited about that. But this isn't going to happen this year. We're already in December, aren't we? And we're so far behind because everything's been set back because of this COVID, whatever that is. Okay. Question 12. What if I lost my access to my wallet? Well, there's good news and there's bad news. The bad news is you can never transfer your tokens to anyone or sell your tokens. The good news is you still get paid out your distributions because we're also a centralized. We have a centralized system bridging with the blockchain decentralized system. We know we can audit through the blockchain and through our centralized system exactly what number of Storh tokens you actually own. So in the end, you're going to get 100% of your net Storh asset value back plus a margin on top of that, which I believe is going to be maybe 20 to 25% on top. So you're very fortunate there because anything that's just generally just crypto and blockchain, if you lose your key, you have access to nothing, you don't get anything, you lose your wealth. So we were aware of that at the time of developing the whole concept, to be quite honest, because I also had challenges with wallets and things in this new industry, digital currencies and things. I mean, it takes a bit to get your head around it, doesn't it? It takes a while to adjust to it. And we've been involved in it for many years now, so it's a little bit different. But for newcomers even today, it can become quite complex. So to answer your question, if you lost access to your wallet, it's okay. We have record of what you've got. We're just going to actually validate that when we run the blockchain wallet updates. Once that's done, we know exactly what everyone's got, and from there we'll be paying out the distributions.
Yeah, and because this is such an important question, because I mean, wow, it just amazes me after the trainings and after the videos we have done, and exactly because this is really such a complex the blockchain still, of course. So the amounts of people who actually lost still after really making so much emphasis on they have to remember that they have to write it down. It's I would say like wow, I mean a good 50% probably of the people they just don't understand it, don't lost it or whatsoever. So it's a lot of people. So that really sees there's so much room still for development for people. Really, when we want to eventually go full, like to say the world blockchain and so on, is a lot on the learning curve, and especially of course different countries where they're not so advanced. So that was a good learning lesson as well for us, wasn't it, Bill?
Yeah, it was. I mean, generally in a centralized system, let's say banking, and I do international banking now for decades in one sense. If you lose, if you have your account number and IBAN number, even if you just had proof of ID and you went to the bank and said, I think I have an account here, they could probably actually try and find it, and you'd have a way of resetting a password and blah, 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 all proof of access and those types of things. When it comes to blockchain, it's no go. You lose your key, you lose access, you lose your wealth. And there's been, I would say there'd be thousands of people around the world, hundreds of thousands, if not millions of people around the world, maybe in that situation. I don't know, but I just know it's a pretty significant occurrence. But anyway, we need to get our head around that because it's not going away. And look where Bitcoin is right now. It's nearly $20,000, I think, or around that vicinity. Okay, so my tokens have disappeared in my wallet. Okay, well, that's not possible. Let me just say this. If the tokens are being transferred to the correct wallet address, they will be there. Now, whether you can see it or not is a different thing, because you have to go in there and actually add a custom token. There's a bit of a process to that, okay? But anyway, when we do the validation from the blockchain to your back office module, Storh back office module, you're going to see most people haven't done wallet to wallet transactions, so it's not really going to matter. We know what you've got. And we're just going to cross-check with the blockchain. Okay, we know some people have transferred significant amounts of Storh to other people. We just need to validate that, update decentralized system on Utopian Global, and that will be fine. We'll be able to do that. In fact, the blockchain doesn't lie. That's the beauty of it, actually, in that sense. Okay, so if you lost access to your wallet, you can't see your tokens, we know what you've got anyway. So, and if you have any questions, when we get to that, just 1 second, Claudia. When we get to that particular point, you've still questioned what your ownership is there, we're just going to have to send a ticket to support. We're going to have to go through it, that the auditors and compliance and treasury look at that, and they'll come back and say yes, no, but every movement of token is tracked and logged. So it's not a problem really. It's just a matter of taking the time to do the to follow. We say follow the money, follow the token in one sense, but we know where it's gone. Okay, go ahead, Claudia.
And just to add this question, my tokens have disappeared in my wallet. So sometimes I had a few occasions actually. So let's say they had added this custom token in the Ether wallet on the MEF Connect, but still for some reason or other, then they logged in maybe a few days later whatsoever, and then they had to add it again, so it was actually disappeared. So they had to again add the custom token. So that has happened. So if it's not anymore there, just go again through the process, add again this custom token, and then you will see them. So I had this quite a few times.
Yes, that's true, Claire. I've had it happen to me many times where you've actually added the custom token store. You've had to put in a number of decimal places. You put the code in store, STORH. And you've got to put in, of course, the contract hash code in there, and then you see your store appear. Then you log out and you come back another day and log in, and of course it's disappearing, and you've got to do the process again. So it's a little bit annoying on the Ethereum smart contract process because of that. But anyway, that's probably why you don't see it. Let's move on to the next question. I have an account and my wife has one. Can we have one wallet address? Well, you could, but you'd have to do that pretty much now. As I said, once the 14th, what you'd have to do is log into your let's say, Claudia would have to log into her Ethereum wallet account. And what she would do then is she would then transfer the tokens from her Ethereum wallet that she has there to the partner's Ethereum wallet, and they'd be transferred there. And then when we did the validation on the blockchain, Claudia's back office would show, let's say, 0 Storh, and person B's back office would show, 500,000 Storh, whatever it might be. Okay, so that is possible. But once the 14th comes, to be no transfers. That's done. Okay, but there's a possibility you could do that, and therefore you have all the distributions going to one wallet rather than going to two different accounts. But that's a possibility. You can actually still control that. How often will we get paid out the dividends? This, from what I understand from Ryan, they'll be monthly. Do we get the dividends in Ethereum, Euro, or dollar? Oil and gas is dollar. It'll be on the day that we receive that, we push the bank. We'll get it in our Swiss bank account, the US dollar value. That's going to be pushed on the same day to the Euro account, whatever the Euro total is. That's the exchange rate that you'll actually get, and that'll be pushed to people's e-wallets based on the number of stored tokens that they actually have. So there's the top 16 questions, Claudia. Maybe you want to go through the questions online there. If anyone else has any other questions, I'm here to respond to them.
Oh yes, of course, we have plenty of questions. So there's no shortage of questions, that is for sure. Can we go through all? That is, we don't know yet. So there's one question coming here. I'm confused. Will we not get payments in actual money, EA, GBP, Great British Pound, or Euro, that we can convert to home currency? What if we do not want to get paid out in cryptocurrency? Confused, sorry.
You've got to listen. Okay, let me explain how it works. So we're going to get paid in US dollars, okay, into our Swiss bank account. From there, it's going to get exchanged to euros, because we deal with euros with Utopian Global. Oil and gas deals with actually US dollars, and will come into the Euro account in Switzerland, and it'll give us X amount of euros, which is relative. There may be a small loss done because of the exchange rate, okay? But from there, if you're in the UK, for example, when you log into your bank account, and let's say your e-wallet says you've got so many euro, and you logged into your bank account, so you logged into your back office, you say, I want to get paid out in my bank account. You have a British bank account, so it's going to be GDP, okay, British pound. You're going to say, you're going to give me the IBAN number. The Treasury's going to receive your IBAN number to your British bank. So what we're going to do is the Treasury Department will put your IBAN number from the UK into the payout into the Treasury system. Let's say it's let's just say it's 100 euros you're getting paid this particular month, depending on the number of store that you actually have. Okay, we will push the 100 euros, and from that, when it settles in your bank account in the UK, it's going to be converted to British pound. Now, if you're in Australia, it's going to convert to Australian dollars. If you're in New Zealand, it's going to be New Zealand dollars. If it's in Canada, it's going to be Canadian dollars. So it's a very flexible system there. We get paid, we're going to end up with euro in our Swiss account. From there, we're going to distribute the euro to anyone's accounts anywhere in the world. And depending on your particular currency, that's what you're going to end up on that day exchange rate, that the funds in euro actually arrive in your account.
Okay, next question. Will distributions be done quarterly or monthly?
I've already answered that, monthly.
Another question. Does it mean that US will have a chance to take advantage in further offerings of Storh?
Well, it won't be Storh. It won't be called Storh. Storh as an equity token is finished. I just said that. But yes, when it comes to other opportunities, yes, we certainly want the US to be able to be involved. Oil and gas made it very challenging, okay, because it's regulated as a help me out, Claudia, as a it'll come to me anyway.
Yes, so as a security.
It's a security. Thank you. I was looking for that word, as a security. But no, the other assets we're having coming to the table, such as here, I'm having in Angola, which is looking fantastic. It's going to be high returns. Just got to manage the risk. We'll certainly want to make that available to the US as well.
Fantastic. And another question is: so we won't need any more a Ethereum wallet?
No, not for the future assets at this stage. You know, again, I'll just repeat myself here. I love the concept of the blockchain. Okay, the transparency, the security, etc. But with that said, we've experienced lots of challenges in the last 2 years. Okay, we'll do other tokens in the future, but looking at the assets we're moving into possibly here, we won't possibly need to do a token. The difficulty it causes, the amount of administration it requires to do that, and also from the people side, we don't know whether we'll go that way. I mean, I believe in that, okay, but we also want to keep it very easy for the people. But for right now, for the new assets and projects, it could be not. But anyway, for Storh, you certainly don't need it.
Great. Another question: can we have please a recording? Yes, it will be available. Another question is there's so many ones. I need to make it big. When will we start going further again with Storh again with the new Storh opportunities? What is a long question? Is there an approximate timeline? Storh is kind of on hold now. Can this on hold take 3 months, 6 months, 9 months, 1 year, or longer?
Well, how long's COVID taken?
Still there.
Okay. I mean, let's look at where the world is today. I can tell you right now, as I said to you, I'm not bragging about this. I have a strong 6-figure number invested in Storh. I am very grateful the outcome of Storh, where we are right now, with what Ryan and the team have actually done, given the situation. So to be able to move from what we are from the bank deal that we had in July this year, to be able to move to distributions and paying down the debt, etc., it's been absolutely fantastic, and to have a good outcome from it, I'm grateful for that and for the management team. So where we're heading in the future, I have no idea. I don't even know who to trust when I hear about COVID this and COVID that. To be quite honest, look at the global economies. I mean, I travel quite a bit, and some economies are completely shut down. Some are opening up, have a normal life. The ones that were open normally are now shut down. I mean, it's such a conflicting information, whether you're from the west or from the eastern part of the world. So I don't know what the future is going to hold. But one thing I do know, and that is we need to manage our financial situation very, very clearly. We need to get into real savings. We need to own real assets. And we need to generate cash flows, because one thing's for sure, 2020 has taught all of us we're living in a change world, and things can change on the flip of a dime. We would never expected that 2020, and here we are heading into Christmas, would have turned out the way it was. I mean, what a lesson that we've had this year. I mean, if it goes back to the lesson of Joseph and the Pharaoh, you know, in ancient Egypt, where he was told we're going to have 7 years of prosperity followed by 7 years of famine. They planned for that, but most people didn't plan for that. So when the famine did come, the smart ones like the Pharaoh and Joseph had a storehouse of wealth, grains and food and everything else, produce in one sense, which they saved. Now, many of you members here have been on gold and silver savings plans. You're owning real assets, store assets, for example. So I think we're going to take this negative from this year and reevaluate where we are in our financial situation, how we're earning our income, what type of assets we're actually owning, what type of debt levels we actually have, which debt levels do we have? Is it something of an asset or is it something of a liability of credit cards loaded up to the hilt buying junk we don't need? These are all sorts of questions that we need to ask ourselves and put ourselves in a strong standing to be able to withstand financial storms. This is what we're here for, Utopian Global. We're pretty strong on this. I mean, I know I'm pretty strong on it because I grew up not with a silver spoon in my mouth, so I've been through cycles where I've had nothing, okay? And it's the ones that survive and have good opportunities are the ones that are savers in the right assets at the right time. This is what we like to teach, and this is what we want to be able to share with you people, you know? And many of us have been caught out this year, no question about that. Many people, as I travel, has found 2020, I mean, lost their homes, lost their businesses. They don't know what their future is. So to answer that question, which I think was, how long is it going to take? Three months, 6 months? I really don't know, but I can tell you right now, I'm here in Angola, not for a holiday. We're not allowed to swim at the beach anyway, which is strange, because of COVID, which I think is bizarre. I'm here looking at some very, very good investments, which are going to be high returns. We're able to get in at discounted rate because international investments, exceptionally in these types of parts of the world, not everyone's willing to get on an aircraft and fly to Angola, to be quite honest, you know, which I am, and I certainly have some good partners who are familiar with these regions, have done business here for 30 years, and we have good connections. So that's why I'm here doing due diligence, and if it comes off to be fruitful, we'll definitely share those opportunities with our members. But it's all about, of course, risk management, making opportunities available to all of us where we can have good return at minimal risk, which I think is really important.
I mean, yes, I was just going to add to it. I was this morning in a meeting, and she's the daughter to the Lebanese ambassador to Syria. So traveled all around the world and living since 15 years here in Dubai. She said to me, you really saw this year, like the people who, the wannabes or the fake people with the fake money, with the appearance, they sort of all left. And the old money, or the people who had savings, or they had, you know, a sort of a solid solidity, or had, well, again, like those savings, they're still here. So you really could see it. It's really weeding out. So it's quite interesting. Anyhow, let's move to the next question.
Actually, it's a very true point, Claudia. I think over 500,000 expats fled Dubai. Ferraris, high-end cars, just left at the airports and stuff to go back home because they didn't own it. I mean, a car's a liability anyway, I suppose. But anyway, your point you're making is very, very true. We can all look fine on the outside, but our true foundational wealth you don't see, to be quite honest, you know. So it's a good point that you make. Okay, next question.
Next question is, will Storh be listed on an exchange?
No, it's finished. Finished in a positive. Let me just, I don't want to sound harsh there. It's finished on a positive sense. No, it's not going to go on exchange. How could we list on an exchange? To be quite honest, look at the global economic market, the risk involved there. I am happy that we're going to get our money back on Storh plus a good return of maybe 25%. I'm happy with that. Let's not try and be over greedy given what's gone on in the world in 2020. I'm very happy with that.
Question.
But that doesn't mean, let me just reiterate, it does not mean other opportunities in the future may not be able to go there as well. I mean, I know that when Ryan's coming out with his announcements in 2 weeks' time, we've had many discussions, even though Storh itself won't be going on to exchange, but it's going to lever us into another opportunity already, okay? But I can't say anything more about that. Ryan will do that in the next announcement.
And next question is, will the distribution be paid? I think it was already answered. Will the distribution be paid out annually?
Monthly.
Next question is, Storh 1.0 will never expand on purchasing more oil production.
Not at the moment. One thing is, I mean, the world's changed so much in this year, hasn't it? You look at the new green policy and all these different things. I mean, primarily, excuse me, oil and gas is going to be around for a long, long, long time, but it's become so political, such a sensitive issue. And we've seen this year when global economic markets contract, the impact on price. It went to negative prices this particular year. We're about managing risk, okay? So while I believe, yes, oil and gas, especially natural gas, which is 60% cleaner than oil itself, is going to be around for many, many decades because renewable energy just cannot keep up with demand. As an investment, you know, the board of Storh, I'm not so experienced in this sector. I've been investing in this sector since 2004. I know you joined in it. Actually, I put a 7-figure in that investment. The investment with Ryan Messer and the natural resource asset back in 2004 put a 7-figure into that. And I know you got involved in 2006, Claudia, and some members on this particular call's parents were involved in that particular fund as well. The world is changing. The trends are changing. And if we love something and we let our emotions control, you know, our decisions, okay, maybe you get it right, maybe you don't get it right, but the trend is your friend. And we don't want to be emotional about this. We want to be able to move to keep it. We want to be able to move our decisions to advancing investments, which are becoming the strong trends in one sense. And there's many things that we're looking at with that. But again, 2020 is an abnormal year, and things which we thought were trends had the brakes put on. And other things have expanded. You know, look at Amazon, look at these types of companies. So you know, look at Zoom. I mean, how much growth it's had this year. So yeah, the world is definitely changing. So by not having a position, one thing I learned in investing back in the 90s when I was trading futures, by not having a position, that is, you're not short, you're not betting down on the market, you're not betting up, but by not having a position in the market is actually a position. Sometimes it's just better to be patient, take a step back and have a look what's going on out there, okay? And maybe it's risk management. I'm no expert at this, but I take my money seriously, and I certainly take our members' money seriously. We don't want to put you into something where you're going to get burnt, okay?
And I have many, many, many more questions. So we have 10 minutes more, and let's see how far we can get. If our tokens will be transferred to shares, can we trade them on an exchange?
No.
I'm very happy.
Let me just say why? Because they're locked. They're no longer available for sale. Okay, you own X number of Storh tokens or Storh shares. Let's call them digital shares. And based on the number of digital shares that you actually own is going to determine the amount of distributions you get paid. It's simple. So they're not going to be traded, no.
Okay. Is the €4 token still on the table?
No, because we haven't bought any assets since Raccoon Bend. You saw on the chart that Raccoon Bend was our first asset, which really drove the price up when we began in 2018 from 10 cents up to say 40, I think it was 43 cents. And then we were starting to move into plastics and then into the minerals division. We're still looking at the minerals, okay? Still looking at the minerals, but Storh as an asset, but Storh equity as a share right now, that is actually finished. Certainly Raccoon Bend. Ryan will come out with full details on this, but certainly Storh itself, Storh equity as a digital token, will not go onto an exchange.
So I'm just reading as like sometimes I'm not reading like them in all row because sometimes the new pops in just to let you know how it works, and so I don't know where I started again. So maybe I'm not going even in a row like because there's just so many questions. There's one here. Yeah. So buying Storh at earlier cheaper price was worthless, or is there any benefit of it?
Definitely benefit, of course. You got a lot more Storh. Let's say you put €1,000 in the Storh at 10 cents, whatever it might be. You own a lot more Storh tokens that you're buying it at 20 cents or 43 cents, don't you? So when it comes to paying up distributions, you're going to get more distributions.
Okay, let's use profit from Storh for other opportunities, diversify. Okay, great. Then we have, how are we supposed to recruit new investors if you don't tell us how much return each Storh share gets each quarter?
You're getting paid monthly, and again, as Ryan's, well, you can't recruit on Storh anyway.
Yeah.
Okay, Storh is finished. You can't buy Storh anymore. But to answer your question, the full details of the Storh payout will come out around about the 14th of December, as per Ryan's announcement.
Okay, let's go further.
But I've already said, let me just say this. I've said it and I'll say it again. From what I understand, whatever your net Storh asset purchase was, you're going to get 100% back plus around probably 25%. That's a fantastic return on an investment, is it not? So that tells you something. Now, the exact details of it, we'll have to wait for Ryan to actually give it to us.
Will you have a training video for the new people how to set up the wallet?
There's already one there.
Will Storh
But they don't need it. It's okay.
Will Storh cease to exist or just be not saleable? Because how can we receive dividends on something that no longer exists?
Well, it exists. It's just not available to actually. It's like a lock. Let's call it a locked token. You can't trade it anymore. So it says that Claudia has XYZ number of Storh tokens or digital shares. That's it. It's locked into her name, her account. That is it. And based on the number of Storh tokens that she has, she's going to get paid distributions. But it's not available to trade. She won't be able to transfer it to other people or sell it because it's what she owns. It's her direct owner. Remember, Storh is not a publicly listed company. It's a private listing. The PPM stands for Private Placement Memorandum. We all bought into a private placement listing of Storh equity to invest in Raccoon Ben, which was our first asset. That's what the legal document said. It was never a public listing. Our intention was to take it public, but we're living in a very changed world today, so it's not going to happen at this particular time.
For how long will these distributions be paid?
We'll have to wait for Ryan to come out on that, but I know it's going to be a minimum of 25%. He'll come out with full details on that from the Storh announcement.
And from Sahir, thank you for everything you do. Looking forward to a great future with you all after my operation. Inshallah, all will be good. Sahir, there, you know that. Okay, hi Bill and Claudia, hope you're well. How much of the bank loan is led to pay off?
It's all paid off. That's why you're getting paid out.
Okay. So, and then of course, quite a few people say thank you, thank you, thank you, thank you. And what is the estimate percentage of distributions is coming here? And awesome.
What do you mean? I've already said what the return is.
Yeah, so it's already done. All right, well, I think we've gone through the questions, all of them. Wow, that's good. All through. We made it in 54 minutes. No, it's just like it's a no-brainer coming here. Yeah, we made it. So I know there's more questions coming, you guys. And please send an email to support@utopianglobal.com. Any new products I can sell from Sean, as Bill said, coming very, very soon, more details on that, correct?
Well, just on that, Claudia, let me jump in here a bit. Before you start sending emails here and there, creating more workloads of people, take the responsibility and get hold of this. Claudia is going to put this recording up for everyone to listen to. Take your time to go through it again, because I mean, it's a lot of information there. And when we start talking about digital tokens and things, it can get confusing, and distributions and different things. So instead of asking the same questions that we've already responded to tonight, you'll be able to go to youtube.com/Utopian Global, and you'll be able to see this particular response here and go through. I don't know, we must have answered maybe 30 questions and get your questions answered there. But I'm sure. And then, of course, remember, as Ryan said, Ryan's going to be coming on the call on the middle of December. He's going to be coming on. First of all, he's going to give out a detailed announcement, which I don't have access to right now, a detailed announcement based on what the Storh board have actually done, okay? And after that, the next day, he'll probably be on a webcast anyway. So when you'll have it in writing, the detailed announcement. Secondly, he'll be on the call as well to be able to respond questions. So it's okay. Let's give us a bit of a breathing space here as well. I'm just so happy that we're moving to starting to pay out distributions, given what's going on in the world, and hope everyone does quite well out of this. Yeah, that's what I wanted to say, Claudia.
And the last from Andy, thanks guys, looking forward to the next step of your journey. Stay safe and strong. Absolutely. That's it. And so with that, guys, thank you so much. So this is going to be uploaded on the Utopian Global YouTube channel. So you go to Utopian Global through YouTube, obviously Utopian Global / Utopian Global. And obviously it's going to take a while until it's uploaded, until it's converted. But there you can then have that. And yes, we did, I think, well over 50 questions actually altogether. So yeah, that was good. It was a marathon, but it was good. Great. Well, thank you so much again, Bill, and for, of course, that you could take the time out there in Angola, where you are really busy. Thank you for all the listeners, and thank you for all your trust and belief. It's gonna, this is a journey. We are in the starting of this journey still, so there's just so much more which is going to come. And this COVID, I see it as a great lesson in one sense, because out of that, well, we really have some really great stuff coming. So I'm actually really excited for what the future will hold. Now also that we have more experience in terms of on the token, not token, what to do there, what are people worried about, what's the problems, what are the challenges they have. So that, this is always, you're always learning and you're always evolving. So it's really, really cool. So thanks, Bill, and thanks for all the listeners here. Have all a great evening. And yes, please, of course, if your question didn't get answered, well, we have all answered on this webinar, but if you have still other questions or you didn't understand it, send it to support@utopianglobal.com.
Yeah, thanks, Claudia. Most importantly, thanks to all the people who are involved with us, members been with us for over 10 years, like yourself, Claudia, I think going into the 13th year. We don't take this lightly. We treat everyone's money, whether it's 99 euros or 250,000 euros, we take it seriously. So thank you for your support, because it's been a pretty challenging year. We're not out of it yet, but there's been many lessons learned from this particular year, which is going to set us up for better positions moving into 2021. So again, thanks to everyone. Stay safe and well, and thank you, Claudia.
Out of challenges, there are always greater opportunities. Thank you, guys, and have a good evening.